Hey, so I was in Minnesota on business and I stopped in at the old Chrysler garage in Isanti, Minnesota. That's just a little bit to the north of Minneapolis. Nice collection of pre-war Chrysler products. Let's take a little tour.
All right, let's start a little tour with this 1924 Chrysler B70. Walter Chrysler had been working at Willys. He came over to Maxwell Chalmers to try and turn the company around. I really like this little courtesy light there. Anyway, he ended production of the Chalmers and in 1924 introduced this car named after himself, the Chrysler. This is a six-cylinder car. Here's a very similar 1925. This is a Crown Imperial, top of the line. Anyway, in 25, Chrysler consisted of Chrysler and Maxwell, although Maxwell was going to be phased out this year. The Chrysler was the upper end, with the four-cylinder Maxwell being more towards the lower end. Affordable end. We'll go with affordable end. Anyway, looks like original interior on this. I'm actually really impressed. Do love original interiors. 1927 E80 Imperial. There was also a four-cylinder Chrysler, which was really just a rebadged Maxwell at this point. So in 1927, there are just two Chrysler lines in the Chrysler family of cars. The following year, 1928, they would introduce the Plymouth as the lower end and DeSoto as sort of the medium end. This top-of-the-line Chrysler Imperial was almost $3,200 brand new. That same year, you could buy a Model T Roadster for only $360. This is a 1931 CD8. By this point, Chrysler had purchased Fargo Motors, makers of the Fargo trucks, and it had also purchased Dodge, and it added Dodge cars and trucks to their line. At this point, they're a real competitor to General Motors, having a full line of cars and trucks. I really love the Chrysler Gazelle hood ornaments of this era. Here's another 31 CD8. This one's a sedan. The Fargo trucks were kind of discontinued. They became really just rebranded Dodges. The Fargo name was eventually dropped in the U.S., but still retained for the international markets. So our neighbors, both north and south, who are truck aficionados, are very familiar with the Fargo name. This is another CD8 here. This one is a really snappy-looking sports roadster. This is kind of a rare body style. Only 22 of these sports roadsters are known to still exist. Here's a 1932 Chrysler Imperial CH. That's the shorter wheelbase. They made a longer wheelbase, the CL. There's a neat little feature here. If you look in the back seat, there's a knob right in the center of the back seat. Turning that knob actually moves the front seat back in and out for adjustable seating. Here's another CH. Really impressive car. Not only do you have the Gazelle hood ornament, but you've got those dual trumpet horns up front, side mount spare tire, and this is a convertible sedan. This is a full-on convertible. It gets the fancy leather interior and plenty of legroom. Hard to believe this is the shorter wheelbase. 1933 Imperial, once again the shorter wheelbase. Now this is referred to as the CQ line rather than the CH. The wheelbase is a little bit shorter than the year before, and the straight 8 engine is a little bit lower horsepower than the 32 version. Most importantly, all new sheet metal, so new styling to try and help sales in 33, which, remember, this is the height of the Depression at this point. Let's take a little bit of breather from looking at all those Imperials and appreciate this 1934 Dodge truck. Just a nice, smart utilitarian styling. I like the color scheme here with the gray and the black. Dodge and Fargo were the only truck marks that were produced by Chrysler at this point. A couple of years after this truck was made in 1937, they introduced a Plymouth truck. Oh, we do love airflows. Here's a 1934 Airflow, first year for this. This is a car that was designed in the wind tunnel with a little help from Orville Wright, who knew something about wind tunnels. An engineering marvel. The entire passenger compartment was moved forward just a little bit to help with weight distribution. The body supplied by steel bodybuilder Bud was sort of a modified unibody, not quite a full-on unibody, but getting there. This same year, Bud released a true unibody car working with Citroën on the Citroën Traction. Anyway, despite the well-engineering, buyers didn't really care for it. Here's a 1936 Airflow. They didn't really last too long. Although they were very well-engineered and well-built cars, the styling was maybe just a little bit too far ahead. I think they've become a little bit more loved today than they were at the time. Chrysler, of course, hedged their bets by also producing a more conventionally styled car like this 1936 Airstream. So there's the Airflow is the advanced one. The Airstream is the more conventional one. Nice little Art Deco 8-cylinder badging on there. Moving up to 1938, we have this Imperial New York Special. For 1939, the name of the New York Special was changed to just the New Yorker, and the Chrysler New Yorker, of course, was made for decades. There's some really sharp late 30s styling on here. I really like the fully enclosed dual side mounts. Very streamlined modern, or streamlined modern if you want to sound fancy. There is one post-war car here. This is a doozy, though. It's a 1948 Town and Country. These are always crowd pleasers. You've got the wood body on there. Very nice interior. The combination of the leather and the cloth really looks nice. These things look good, really, from any angle. The wood body was hand-assembled, very labor-intensive. Just a nice car. Anyway, this is a nice little museum. If you're in the area, please stop by. The owner is very friendly, and we'll talk to you and answer any questions that you've got. It's a nice little stop.
Yes, that's the old Chrysler garage in Isanti, Minnesota. That's just north of Minneapolis. Just stop in, nice collection. Anyway, if you'd like to see some of my other videos covering some other museums or events or what have you, there should be a link right about there so that you can see some other videos. Or there's a link right there so that you can subscribe and see future videos. Who knows what the future may hold? Anyway, it was good talking to you. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.